Hello! So I attended the global presentation of Huawei Mate 10 and Mate 10 Pro in Munich. And by the way, have I ever told you that Munich is like one of my favorite cities? They are promising that the phones will be a lot faster with amazing cameras, great battery life, super small bezels and artificial intelligence on top of it all. And let's take a closer look at both models.
I am Huawei Mate 10, the smartphone with the world's first dedicated mobile AI processing unit.
So Mate 10 is the bigger model. With its IPS LCD 5.9-inch display, it's a bit too big for me to hold because I have kind of small hands. And at the same time, I'm not really a fan of curved edges. It is IP53 dust and splash protected, and it has a front-facing fingerprint scanner. Also has a headphone jack. It's running Android Oreo on Kirin 970 chipset, and it also has AI added to that. You can get it in a 64 gig version with 4 gigs of RAM, and it has a micro SD card slot. It has a dual 20 megapixel camera with f1.6 aperture, optical image stabilization and Leica optics. Yeah, it has Leica optics. It can do up to 60 frames per second video in full HD, and it can also do Ultra HD 4K with 30 frames per second. That selfie camera is an 8 megapixel one. It's packing a 4000 mAh battery that should get the advanced user throughout the day easily. Moving on to Mate 10 Pro. This is actually the smaller version, even though it has an AMOLED 6-inch display, but it's a lot slimmer, so it's easier to hold in hands. I also really prefer the look of this device. It's IP67 certified, which means that dust and water to up to 1 meter and 30 minutes will not be a problem. It also has a rear-facing fingerprint scanner that is quite conveniently placed, and no headphone jack. But you do get an adapter. It's running the same chipset as Mate 10, but it only has internal memory. So you can either get the 128GB model with 6 gigs of RAM, or you can get the 64GB model with 4 gigs of RAM. The bigger model, 6 gigs of RAM, smaller model, 4 gigs of RAM. And there is no place for an SD card. The camera and the battery are the same as in Mate 10, so that will be quite interesting to see. I was given this phone, so I will be doing an in-depth review of it and also a very detailed camera test. And if you have any specific questions, please leave them in the comments down below and I will try to figure them out, all of them. And there's another video if you would like to watch. I really hope you like this little montage from Munich that I did, and I will see you soon, very, very soon. Bye!